I didn't find out my husband was cheating on me because of something obvious. It wasn't lipstick on his shirt. It wasn't a text message he forgot to delete. It wasn't a late-night call or a suspicious charge on our credit card. It started with something so small. So stupid. That if you told me back then it would lead to the truth, I would have laughed in your face. It started with a smell. Not perfume. Something even worse. It was my own best friend's smell. But I didn't understand that at the beginning. Not even close. If you've ever trusted someone so completely that you stopped trusting yourself, then you'll understand how I ended up here. How I ignored every sign, every feeling, every instinct in my body telling me something was wrong. I used to think betrayal came like lightning, fast, bright, impossible to miss. But no. Betrayal comes like a slow leak. One drop. Then another. Then another. Until the floor is covered and you're drowning, wondering how long the water has been rising around you. That's what happened to me. And the worst part? The person who handed me the towel while I was drowning was the one making the hole. My husband came home late that night. Not unusual, he worked in sales, meetings ran over, traffic was unpredictable. At least, that's what I told myself. And what my best friend kept repeating to me. I remember sitting on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching some true crime documentary I wasn't even paying attention to. Was scrolling on my phone when I heard the front door unlock. "Hey," he said softly, like he didn't want to wake a sleeping child. He kissed my forehead. He smelled different. Not bad. Just different. Familiar, but in a way I couldn't explain. My best friend used that same body spray sometimes, when she rushed over to my house straight from her gym. So I smiled. I didn't accuse him. I didn't question him. I didn't even pause. Because the truth is, I didn't want to look too closely at anything. People think denial is stupidity. It's not. Denial is survival. I didn't want my life to change. I didn't want to lose him. I didn't want drama. I didn't want to believe that the two people I loved most in the world could be capable of hurting me in the worst possible way. If only I knew. The next red flag came 2 days later. My husband left early for work. I walked out to the driveway to take out the trash, and when I opened his car door to toss something in the passenger seat, something rolled out. A lipstick. Not mine. Not a color I owned. Not a brand I used. Not even remotely close to my style. My heart cracked, just a little. Barely noticeable. But before the thought could form fully in my brain, I grabbed my phone and called the person I always called when something felt off. My best friend. She picked up on the second ring, bright and cheerful. "Hey babe. What's up?" I held the lipstick like it was a crime scene. "I found something," I said. "What do you mean something?" she asked. "A lipstick. In his car." Silence. Just a breath. Barely half a second. But it was too long. When she spoke again, she sounded calm. Too calm. "Oh my God, girl, are you serious? That's probably from one of his clients. You know he drives people around sometimes, right?" True. He did. And she knew it. "Oh," I said, already feeling stupid. "Yeah, maybe." "Don't overthink," she added quickly. "You're tired. You've been stressed. Don't go creating problems that aren't there." She was so good at this. So gentle. So reassuring. She made me feel crazy for even asking. I threw the lipstick in the trash. And that was exactly what she wanted. A few days later, I found a receipt from a restaurant we had never been to. A nice place. Romantic. Dim lighting. Table for two. I texted my best friend a picture of it. Her reply came fast. "He probably took a client." I believed her. Because why wouldn't I? She was my person. My sister in everything except blood. What I didn't know was that she sat at that table with him. Laughing. Touching his hand across the table. Smiling the way she used to smile at me. But I wouldn't learn that until much, much later. The signs kept adding up. A hair tie in his jacket pocket. A small silver earring under the passenger seat. A message notification from an unsaved number at 1:14 a.m. Every time something happened, I went to her. Every single time. And every time, she fixed it. She calmed me down. She distracted me. She twisted things so gently that I didn't even notice she was twisting them. She made me doubt my own eyes. That's how betrayal works. Not with force. With softness. One afternoon, everything shifted. I was sitting with her in my kitchen. She was drinking tea, acting like usual, laughing, making jokes, scrolling through her phone casually, when I finally said the words I had never said out loud. I think he's cheating on me. Her spoon froze midway to her mouth. Then she blinked. A perfect blink. Just like someone who had practiced this reaction in a mirror. Babe, she whispered, don't say that. He loves you. You're imagining things. But the signs? There are no signs, she cut in gently. Her voice soft, but her words firm. Like velvet wrapped around steel. You always jump to conclusions. You're sensitive. And he's been working so hard lately. Don't ruin your marriage because you're stressed. I looked at her. Really looked. Her eyes were steady. Her voice calm. Her expression perfectly sculpted into concern. And I believed her. God help me, I believed her. But here's the thing. When someone is lying to you, really lying, you don't always catch the lie. But your body does. Something in my chest felt heavy. Tight. Uneasy. I told her I needed to know the truth. She forced a smile, tight, uncomfortable, and said, fine. If it means that much to you, I'll help you look. And that was the moment everything started to unravel. Not because she wanted to help me, but because she had no choice. Because if she refused, I would have wondered why. And that was dangerous for her. Much more dangerous than helping me hide the evidence she didn't want me to find. This is where the investigation begins. This is where she starts helping me look for the truth. While doing everything possible to keep me from finding it. She didn't want to help me look. I could see it in the way her shoulders stiffened, in the way she suddenly found her phone too interesting, in the way she avoided my eyes as she said, okay, what do you want to check first? Her voice was light, almost bored. But her hands were shaking. I should have noticed. But I didn't. Back then, I thought she was just tired of my anxiety. The truth was much simpler. She wasn't scared of me finding nothing. She was terrified of me finding her. I started with the obvious. His phone. He kept it locked, of course. He always had. But he'd recently changed his lock code. I remember, months ago, he used to type 11/24, our anniversary, without thinking. Then suddenly, he used his thumb instead. When I asked why, he'd laughed and said, work stuff. Privacy, you know? I didn't know. But my best friend had backed him up immediately, saying, girl, companies are strict now. Don't stress. Funny how everything she said, in hindsight, feels like a rehearsed line. That day, when we started searching, I asked her, what if we check his messages? Maybe something will make sense. She froze. Just for a millisecond. Then she forced a laugh. You want to break into his phone? Oh my God, are we that girl now? But when she saw I wasn't backing down, she flipped her hair and said, okay, fine. But if we open it and find nothing, you owe me a spa day for all this drama. Drama. She used to love that word. Because it made me feel like the villain in my own story. We tried guessing his password. I tried our anniversary. His birthday. My birthday. Nothing. And all the while, she stood behind me, arms crossed, pretending to be helpful but giving suggestions that went nowhere. Try the dog's birthday. He probably changed it to something boring like 0000. Maybe he uses facial recognition now. Look, you see this little icon? She was talking fast, too fast. Stalling. Because she knew the code. She probably typed it in 100 times. But of course, she couldn't help me open it. Because then everything would end. We moved to his car next. It was parked out front. A perfectly normal-looking car, unless she knew where to look. I didn't. But she did. She opened the passenger door so quickly that I barely had time to see the floor mat. She grabbed a sweater from the back seat, hers, apparently, and laughed. Oh my God. This is probably what you smelled that day. I left it here last week. I smiled. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She'd been in our house 1,000 times. She sat in that car with me more times than I could count. Her leaving a sweater behind wasn't strange. What was strange, and what I didn't see because she grabbed it so fast, was the small silver hoop earring underneath it. Later, I would remember that moment and feel sick. She wasn't cleaning his car. She was covering her tracks. Next was his jacket. It hung on the back of a chair in the living room. I reached into the pockets quickly, hoping for something, anything, that would make me feel less crazy. There was a crumpled receipt. From a cafe near his office. I opened it. 2 coffees. 2 pastries. 2:47 p.m. A casual date. A simple moment between 2 people who liked each other. Before I could even react, she snatched the receipt gently and said, "He buys coffee for his coworkers all the time. He's a nice guy. Stop reading into things." Then she ripped it. Right in front of me. Laughed. And tossed it into the trash. See? Gone. Now breathe. And I did. Because she had this way of making me feel silly. Small. Paranoid. She made me doubt myself so efficiently that I didn't see the truth even when it was right in front of me, printed in black ink. Hours passed like that. Me looking. Her redirecting. Me asking questions. Her giving answers too fast, too polished, too ready. At one point I found a hair scrunchie in the back of the closet, red and silky, nothing I'd ever wear, and before I could react, she laughed loudly. Oh my God, that's mine. I lost that last month. I can't believe it landed here. She grabbed it and stuffed it into her purse. Thanks. You just saved me like $8. Everything had an explanation. Every sign had a story. Every clue evaporated the second she touched it. And I let her touch everything. But then something changed. Because betrayal is messy, and even good liars get tired. Something slipped. Something small. Something she couldn't control. And it started with my phone. While she was helping me look, she kept checking her own phone compulsively. At first I thought it was boredom. Then nerves. Then I noticed something odd. Every time my husband texted me, her phone lit up at the same time. Not a full notification. Just the screen turning on. Like it was receiving something too. The first time, I thought it was coincidence. The second time, my stomach tightened. The third time, she flipped her phone over so the screen faced the table. A chill ran down my spine. I didn't know what it meant yet. But something inside me whispered. Pay attention. Later that evening, my husband texted. Working late again tonight. And right across from me, her phone lit up. She didn't even move. She just kept staring at my face, waiting for my reaction. Felt, watched. Like she wasn't helping me look for the truth. She was helping him manage the lie. And suddenly, for the first time in weeks, I felt awake. There was one more moment, one tiny, innocent moment, that should have told me everything. As she stood to leave, her shirt lifted slightly. And I saw it. A bruise. On her neck. A small, faded bruise in a place where only someone very close would leave a mark. She tugged her hair over it quickly. Too quickly. "Oh, that's nothing," she said before I could even ask. I scratched myself. A scratch. Shaped like a kiss. It didn't make sense. Not yet. But the snowball had started rolling. And there was no stopping it now. Everything was about to collapse. And she knew it. Because for the first time, when I asked, "Can you come back tomorrow? I want to keep looking." She hesitated. Only 1 second. But I saw it. Fear. Real fear. Then she forced a smile. "Of course. Anything for you. Anything for me." Funny. Later, those words would feel like a knife. The next morning, I woke up early. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. My mind kept replaying every moment from the day before. The lipstick. The receipt. His changed password. Her grabbing things too fast. Her phone lighting up with his messages. The bruise on her neck she didn't want me to see. All of it playing like broken film reels in my head. I made coffee, but it tasted like nothing. I sat on the couch, but I couldn't feel the cushions. My body was awake, but my mind was somewhere between panic and disbelief. And for the first time, I wasn't just suspicious of him. I was suspicious of her. That realization felt like betrayal by itself. Like I was breaking some unspoken promise between us. Best friends aren't supposed to doubt each other. They're supposed to lock arms, look the world in the eyes and say, "Us against everyone." But something she said the day before kept echoing in my mind. "Don't ruin your marriage because you're stressed." Her tone. Her pushiness. Her insistence that I was imagining everything. It was too strong. Too practiced. Too personal. She came back around noon. Hair tied up. Makeup done. Smiling a little too brightly. Like she was acting. "Ready for round 2, she said, laughing as she walked in. But her laugh was off. Sharp. Almost metallic. I noticed everything now. Everything I ignored before. We started in the bedroom. My husband's closet, to be specific. She pretended to take the lead, rummaging through clothes, opening drawers, folding shirts unnecessarily, as if being busy made her look helpful. But I could see the panic in her eyes each time I got too close to anything personal. At one moment, I reached toward the inside pocket of his suit jacket. Her hand flew out instantly. "Nothing in there," she said too quickly. "It's just work stuff. Don't go snooping through his business clothes." Work stuff. The same phrase she used about his phone. I backed away slowly, and she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. Something was in that pocket. I didn't know what. But she did. And she wasn't about to let me touch it. When we moved to the laundry basket, things got worse. I lifted a shirt that smelled faintly of perfume I didn't own. Before I could even lift it to my nose, she snatched it away, laughing loudly. "Ew, stop. He probably hugged someone who wears heavy perfume. Happens all the time." Her laugh was fake. Forced. Cracked at the edges. And her hand was shaking. Not from the shirt. From fear. The next red flag came out of nowhere. While she sat on the bed pretending to help fold clothes, she casually said, "You know, if he was cheating, it wouldn't be with someone close to you. He's not stupid." It was such a strange sentence. So oddly specific. It didn't fit the conversation. It didn't fit anything. I froze. She didn't look at me when she said it. She just stared at the wall, folding one of his shirts over and over again like she didn't know how to stop. Why would you say someone close to me? I asked quietly. Her head snapped up. I didn't, she said too fast. You misheard. No. I heard you. She swallowed hard. Then forced a smile that nearly cracked her face. It was just an expression, babe. Relax. You're reading into everything. There it was again. That phrase. Reading into everything. Like she needed me to doubt myself. But the thing about self-doubt is, once you stop believing it, everything becomes painfully clear. By evening, I was exhausted. Emotionally. Mentally. Physically. But I wasn't ready to stop. We checked the living room next. She sat on the couch scrolling through her phone, pretending to be bored, while I looked under cushions, inside drawers, behind the TV stand. And that's when I found it. A bracelet. Thin. Silver. Delicate. Not mine. Not anything I would wear. My hand trembled as I held it up. Do you know whose this is? I asked. She didn't even look at it before answering. Oh. That's mine. She stood up too fast, snatched it from my hand, and slipped it into her pocket. It fell off last week. I'd been looking for it everywhere. Except the clasp was broken. The bracelet wouldn't even close. How exactly had she been wearing it recently? I didn't say anything. But I felt something inside me shift. A small click. Like the first piece of a puzzle falling into place. We kept searching. And I kept asking questions I was suddenly afraid to say out loud. Eventually, I realized that all the signs, the smell, the lipstick, the bruises, the nervousness, they weren't pointing outward. They were pointing inward. Right at her. The realization hit me like cold water. But I didn't want to believe it. Not yet. Not without proof. Real proof. Something undeniable. And then, the universe handed it to me. It happened when we checked his laptop. He rarely used it at home, but he'd left it on the dining table that morning, charger plugged in. I opened it. Locked. Too many failed attempts and it would wipe itself, he'd told me that months ago, insisting it was for work purposes. I stared at the login box. My heart pounding. My palms sweating. And then she said it. She said something that nearly made my heart stop. Try 0418. I froze. Why that? I whispered. She blinked. Too fast. I don't know. Just guessing. Random numbers. April 18th. Her birthday. Not mine. Not his. Hers. Why would she guess that number? Why would she even think of it? I turned slowly and looked at her. Really looked. Her face was pale. Her hands were clasped tightly in her lap. She wasn't blinking anymore. Like she knew she'd made a catastrophic mistake. But the moment passed. She recovered. Smiled. Laughed. Try it, babe. It's probably nothing. I typed it in. Wrong. But that wasn't the point. The point was that she thought of it. The point was that her instinctive guess was a date she shared with him. It meant something. And for the first time, she couldn't hide the fear in her eyes. That was the exact moment I knew. She wasn't helping me find the truth. She was helping me stay blind. Protecting him. Protecting herself. Protecting their secret. The room tilted. My ears rang. My heart felt like it had stopped entirely. Something inside me whispered. You're close. So close that she could feel it too. Because she stood up suddenly, grabbed her purse, and said, I should go. I think you need rest. We'll continue tomorrow. But I grabbed her wrist before she reached the door. Why are you leaving so fast? She froze. Only for a second. Then turned with a smile that didn't touch her eyes. No reason. I just don't want to overwhelm you. She slipped out of my grip. And out the door. Leaving me alone with a silence so heavy it felt like someone sitting on my chest. That night, something kept echoing in my mind. 0418. It was a code. A clue. A confession. And I didn't even realize yet that the truth was about to collide with me faster than I could prepare for. Because the next day, I wouldn't need to guess anymore. I would finally see something solid. Irrefutable. Unforgettable. The final piece of the puzzle. The moment where everything I ignored for months would slam together and form the picture I'd been too scared to see. I didn't sleep that night either. I kept hearing her voice in my head. Try 0418. Her birthday. Why did she think of that so fast? Why was she suddenly so desperate to leave? Why did she grab that silver bracelet from my hand like it was burning her skin? By sunrise, I wasn't confused anymore. I was focused. Sharp. Awake in a way I hadn't been in months. Whatever they were hiding, I was done letting them hide it. Around 8 in the morning, I heard my husband in the kitchen. He was humming. Actually humming. Like a man who slept well. Like a man with no guilt at all. I stepped into the doorway and watched him butter toast like it was just another normal day. I had 1,000 questions inside me. But I asked only one. Where were you last night? He froze mid-movement. Just for a second. Then he smiled without looking up. Told you, working late. Working late. His favorite lie. His easiest line. Until 2 in the morning? I pushed. He shrugged. Big client. Long day. But his voice was too calm. Too controlled. The kind of calm people rehearse in the mirror. I pressed harder. Did you talk to her yesterday? His head snapped up. Talk to who? Her. Who is her, he said, pretending confusion. Except he blinked, too fast. His jaw tightened, too sharp. His hand shook, just slightly. He knew exactly who I meant. He walked past me toward the hall closet, muttering something about needing his jacket. And that was his mistake. He forgot who else had touched that jacket. He forgot what she had been desperate to hide inside it. He reached into the inner pocket. The same pocket she didn't want me touching yesterday. And pulled out his phone charger. But something else fell out. A keycard. From a hotel. Not a business hotel. Not a conference center. A romantic boutique hotel near the lake. I picked it up slowly. What's this? He froze. But before he could answer, my phone pinged. A notification. A motion alert. From our front porch camera. He looked at my phone. I looked at the screen. And when I opened the video clip, my whole body stopped breathing. Because standing outside my house. At 8 in the morning. On a day she wasn't supposed to come. Wearing the same clothes she wore yesterday. Was my best friend. Hair messy. Eyes nervous. Hands fidgeting. She lifted her hand to knock. Then stopped. Checked her phone. My husband's phone lit up at the exact same second. I felt the world tilt under my feet. She texted him before knocking. He texted her before answering me. They were syncing their stories. Their timing. Their lies. Why is she here? I whispered. He didn't answer. Not right away. Not even after I replayed the clip. Not even after I said. She was with you last night. He said the line people say when they have no more lies left. You're imagining things. The line she taught him to say. The line she used on me every step of the way. And that was it. Something inside me snapped. Not from anger. From clarity. Painful, sharp, electrifying clarity. I walked past him, straight to the door, and opened it before she could pretend she hadn't been standing there rehearsing her face. She jumped. Oh. I didn't let her finish. I held up the hotel keycard. This fell out of his jacket, I said quietly. She froze. Completely. Her face drained of color so fast it looked like someone pulled a plug. I don't know what. You guessed his password yesterday, I said. Her mouth opened. Then closed. I found your bracelet in our living room, I added. She blinked. Hard. And your scrunchie. She swallowed. And your sweater in his car. Her breathing changed. Quick. Panic rising. And the perfume on his shirt. Her hand started shaking. And your phone lights up every time he texts me. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. I stepped closer. The truth was rising in my chest like a scream. And you told me, if he was cheating, it wouldn't be with someone close to you. Her eyes widened. That was the line she couldn't take back. I was finally seeing it. All of it. Every sign. Every clue. Every moment I ignored. And now, I whispered, you're standing on my porch at 8 in the morning wearing the same clothes you wore yesterday. Silence. Then I said the words that ended everything. How long? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Because at that moment, while she stood there frozen, my mind began to rewind everything at once. Like a film snapping back to the beginning. The lipstick. Her saying it was from a client. The perfume. Her saying don't imagine things. The earring. Her covering it. The bracelet. Her grabbing it too fast. The bruises. Her hiding them. The restaurant receipt. Her ripping it. The phone lighting up. The stalling. The excuses. The manipulation. The phrases she repeated. The lies they rehearsed together. Everything I brushed aside. Was her. Every sign I ignored. Was her. Every moment I doubted myself. Was her. I whispered to myself. How didn't I see it? How did I miss everything? It was right in front of me. All along. And then she spoke. Quietly. Pathetically. He told me, he said, you two were done. He said he didn't want to hurt you. I stared at her. Not angry. Not heartbroken. Just empty. Because betrayal doesn't hit like a slap. It hits like a collapse. Silent. Heavy. Total. My husband came to the door, face pale, mouth open. He tried to speak. I closed the door in both their faces. And for the first time in months, I breathed. Not freely. But honestly. Painfully. Clearly. What comes after betrayal isn't strength. It's survival. And then, eventually. Rebirth. But you can't rebuild until you finally see the truth for what it is. Not an accident. Not a mistake. But a decision. Repeated. Conscious. Deliberate. By the two people you trusted the most. If you've ever been betrayed, manipulated, or made to doubt your own reality like I was, you don't have to walk through that pain alone. There are tools that can help you rebuild your confidence, your peace, and your sense of self. I put something truly powerful for you in the description, something that can help you heal, refocus, and move forward with clarity and strength. And if this story touched you in any way, don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment. Your support helps this channel reach more people who need these stories.